Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. It's Saturday morning, the sun is shining, it's an early start, cup of tea in hand, and we're jumping on as Newcastle get closer to making their first transfer of the summer. That's right, as of late last night, breaking news that Newcastle are back again. We've done this before, didn't work out last time. Back again in talks with Nottingham Forest for Anthony Elanga. 23-year-old Swedish international. Straight away, thoughts and comments down below. Is that a player you would like to see sign for Newcastle United this summer? If you are new around here and you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please be sure to do so. Or if you're not new, maybe you watch my videos all the time but have never hit that red button, please do me the favour. It really helps the channel, pushes it that little bit further. But yes, 23-year-old right winger, Nottingham Forest. As I say, a player that we've been in links with before. Eddie Howe now, I guess, taking over the role of sporting director for this summer. He's back in for Gahey. He's back in for Trafford. Maybe we should have known it was coming, that Elanga is a player that he likes, that we tried to sign previously, and we are back in for again. And we are, in this video, going to get into wages, how much we offered last time, how much we're offering this time, how much Nottingham Forest want for the player, because that's the big thing for me. Obviously, I said let me know in the comments whether you would be interested in this player. I'm definitely interested. He's a fantastic player. When we talk about stats, I think Salah was top with 18 assists in the Premier League. Murphy was second with 12. Elanga was third with 11. And he got 6 goals. 23-year-olds, loads of potential there. But it's the cost. Because if it's too high, you just move it away. The report actually is that Elanga is one of 3 or 4 right wingers that we are currently in talks with. So this is just one of the players that we're speaking with. Obviously, it's a position that we definitely need to strengthen this summer. Would Elanga be the man you would like to see? Let me know. In terms of how he fits into the squad, and as well, Will Asula potentially doing some work behind the scenes here. Agent Asula trying to bring in Elanga with some photos online of him, Isak and Willock, and Elanga actually commenting on the posts saying, "Can I join?" So I thought that was quite funny. This actually happened about a month ago now back in April, where Asula's actually having some food with Isak and Willock, and Elanga actually comments down below, "Where's my invite?" Now, exactly how Asula and Elanga are friends, I've got no idea, but I thought it was quite funny that Asula's getting back with the agent talks. You'll remember back when we were linked with Paqueta and a few other players, it was Agent Bruno. Well, Asula didn't get lots of time on the pitch this season. Maybe he's doing overtime off the pitch to try and help us bring the players in. But I think it shows quite good, I guess, banter between the two players. Obviously, Eddie Howe's got his... still early, still before 7 a.m. this video, so the idiot policy, we'll call it. Clearly seems like a canny enough lad. Obviously was started up in Sweden before he joined Manchester United, made the move over to Nottingham Forest, and for all intensive purposes, moving to a squad the size of Nottingham Forest and seemingly fitting in fairly well is something that Eddie Howe will have definitely put a big tick against in his box. As we know, Eddie Howe likes to fully vet his players before bringing them over. And as I say, for all intensive purposes, Elanga seems like a decent enough lad. But the thing that's getting me excited is on the pitch. Elanga, Isak, Gordon is a counter-attacking front three. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? He's got loads of pace. As I say, 11 assists, 6 goals this season. Decent returns there for a right-sided player. And he's versatile as well. We know Eddie Howe likes to try and be a little bit clever with players being able to play on both sides. It hasn't always worked. let's be honest, that was the plan with Gordon. He was meant to be able to play on the right and up front. Really, unless he's on the left, it doesn't always quite work. Same with Barnes, but I think I would argue that Elanga brings a little bit more flexibility in how he plays around the front three. Interestingly, though, right-footed, which we already have in terms of Murphy. It's everyone's right-footed. Can we get? Is there any left-footers out there? Obviously, on the left-hand side, we've got Gordon and Barnes, both right-footed. Isak up front, right-footed. On the right-hand side, you would assume if Eddie Howe likes his inverted wingers on the left with Gordon and Barnes, he would like them on the right as well. But strangely enough, Murphy on the right, Elanga also right-footed. Again, professional footballers, they can kick the ball with both feet. But I think when we saw the links to the likes of an Mbeumo, left-footed, right-sided player, maybe that's what we're going to try and bring to the side. But no, we're sticking with the right-footed in Elanga, and as I say, he's a good player. He can do more, and a big thing for us fitting him straight into this squad as well is that he is Premier League proven. Again, we know Eddie Howe likes to bring it, and that's what I would like to see this summer. Really, obviously, there's talks on big money players coming in. I think it makes sense to try and bring maybe one or two Premier League proven straight away. They're in the team. There is hopefully none of this Eddie Howe not play them for a year stuff. Although he did it with Gordon and he did it with Hall, so there's no known with Eddie Howe. And then maybe two or three from a foreign league as well to really try and just mean we can hit the ground running. If we are going to bring in 4 or 5 players that has been discussed in the media, we aren't having to wait for them all to bed in. Elanga can hopefully fit in straight away. But as I say, the big thing is cost. What are the costs? How much is this guy going to cost us if we are able to get him over the line this summer window? Well, Nottingham Forest, 2 years ago, and I'm looking down because I have got it written in front of me, they paid 15 million for him in July 2023 to bring him over from Manchester United. So just 2 years ago, they paid 15 million for him. A year ago, so last July, the end of the last summer window when Newcastle were linked with him last time round, the reports are that we offered 35 million to bring Elanga in, but that it rose higher than that and that we never actually got close to their asking offer. Yeah, so this is where you start to waver a little bit on what is the right price for this player. Bearing in mind, he's a season on. He's a season more practiced in the Premier League. 3rd highest assists in the Premier League. 6 goals as well as a decent return for a right-sided player. Reports are that Forest will now want closer to 50 million, and that's when you're kind of taking the next step. Because I think for me, he's a good player. I like him. He would be a good addition to the side. 30 million. 35 million, pay the man, get it in, we're done, we're ready. 50 million, you're starting to just take that next step into the next bracket, which is, I think if it's one of those, right, 50 million and he joins on end of next week, great. I think we'll just do it, we'll get it over the line, done and dusted, stop messing on. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't just 50 million and it's a little bit more. Well, Saudi tax, Newcastle tax, 0 PSR issue tax, whatever you want to call it, teams are going to want more and more from us. The flip side, however, what you could look at is the likes of a Jack Grealish, who's also being linked. Elanga's 23, Jack Grealish is 29. I would say has been in worse form than Elanga has, in the last 2 or 3 years. And City want 45 million for him. But obviously, Jack Grealish is getting paid 300 grand a week as well, which is obscene. Elanga, wages-wise, is far more achievable. Obviously, we saw what happened with the Mbeumo stuff, but in terms of Elanga's wages, I think it is definitely less than actually what I would have expected. So the reports are that when Elanga signed for Nottingham Forest 2 years ago on a 5-year deal, which again we'll talk about in a second, He signed it for 25 grand a week. So there you go. I think that's very achievable for Newcastle to match, if not give him that little bit more. However, Mbeumo was on 50 grand and he wanted 250. So nothing's ever said till it's done. But certainly in terms of our negotiations with the player, if we went from 25 to 50 or 75, bearing in mind the likes of Bruno, Gordon, 150 grand. I reckon Isak's in conversation for his new deal to get his up to 150 to be on the same level as Bruno and a few others. Where does Elanga fit into that? Well, the idea is that, so even if we did go, you know what it is, fine, 50 million, 30 grand a week on wages, it's probably going to be more. He's going to want more than that. 50 grand a week on wages. Like, it spreads itself out, and if we give him a 5-year deal, that spreads itself as well. As I say, he's only 23 years old. If he comes in, absolutely smashes it for us, there is room for up to be worth more than that in 2 or 3 years. We was paid 40 million for Gordon, which at the time, I think fans thought was, again, similar to this situation. Just get him in, 40 million, fine. Now he's worth 80 plus. So I think that's positive as well in terms of wages. But as I say, 3 years left on his deal. So Nottingham Forest are in a fantastic place. It's not like he's got a year left and they have to just let him go for a reduced cost. They can stick it out here. If they don't sell him this summer because no one will give them the 50, 60, whatever they want, they can probably roll it into next year and then still sell him for a decent fee. So thoughts and comments down below on Elanga there. I've gone through how he would fit in the side. What would you make of an Elanga, Isak, Gordon or Elanga, Isak, Barnes front three for the first game of next season? In terms of cost, do you think 30, 40 is right? Or do you think, let's just be perfectly upfront and honest with ourselves and say, the Premier League is mad, money is mad, and it's probably going to be 50 million. Would you still go for it to just get that player done? As I say, I think it's worth its weight in gold sometimes to just go, 5 million extra, fine, just do it. It's done. It's showing that we're making some moves, and then that's something sorted rather than just creeping on and on and on. We've had this for the last few windows now where things just don't get over the line. It didn't get over the line last time round. If we're going to make it happen quickly, that would be nice. But as I say, reported, he is one of 3 or 4 players that we are certainly looking at. Whether we're in talks with these other players, I don't know. But reports are that we are in talks with Nottingham Forest and Elanga to make a move this summer. So yes, thoughts and comments down below. If you're still watching 13 minutes later and you haven't hit like or subscribe, do it. If you want to see Newcastle sign Elanga, hit a like. And yeah, getting really close to 50,000 subscribers. So it would be really cool if I could try and get that before, well, this summer would be amazing. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back later with a confirmed offer or something along those lines. That'll be nice. Thanks for watching. Enjoy it. And I'll catch you later.